These are three of the most iconic supercar manufacturers on the planet, and none of them started as watchmakers. Yet Ferrari, Bugatti, and Porsche have each embedded themselves deep into the world of haute horlogerie, producing timepieces that cost more than most houses. This is the story of why the fastest cars in the world ended up on your wrist, and what happens when two obsessions with perfection collide. Let's start with the obvious question. Why would a company that builds hypercars care about a device that fits in your palm? The answer begins with a single word: precision. Both industries worship at the altar of engineering tolerance, exotic materials, and performance pushed to the absolute limit. Carbon fiber, titanium, ceramic. These materials form the shared DNA of a supercar chassis and a million-dollar movement. While Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet built their reputations over centuries, these automotive partnerships prove you don't need 200 years to create million-dollar complications. This connection isn't new. It goes back to 1918, when the Swiss brand Mido drew inspiration from Bugatti, Lancia, and Delage racing car radiators for their watch dial designs. Over a century ago, someone looked at the face of a car and saw a watch. But the real catalyst for the modern era of car-watch partnerships, that story belongs to one man, Ferdinand Alexander Porsche. Butzi, as his family called him, was already a legend for designing the Porsche 911, arguably the most iconic sports car ever made. Then, in 1972, he founded Porsche Design and immediately released the Chronograph 1. His ambition was deceptively simple. He wanted to create a watch that matched the car, and he did something nobody had ever done before. He made the watch entirely black. A matte black case and bracelet with anti-glare PVD coating inspired directly by the cockpits of Porsche racing cars. Dashboards are finished in matte black to eliminate light reflections so drivers can read their instruments at 200 miles per hour. It was the world's first all-black wristwatch, and that same watch later appeared on Tom Cruise's wrist in the 1986 film Top Gun, though almost nobody watching the movie could identify the brand at the time. What followed was a remarkable journey through Swiss watchmaking. Porsche Design partnered with IWC from 1978 to 1997, creating the first chronograph with a titanium case and bracelet in 1980. After IWC, they moved to Eterna, which Butzi himself had acquired in 1995. By 2014, Porsche had founded its own Swiss watchmaking subsidiary. Today, Porsche Design is fully owned by Porsche AG, and they manufacture in-house movements. But Porsche also plays the partnership game. In 2021, they entered a global collaboration with Tag Heuer, a relationship built on a shared birth date. Both the Heuer Carrera chronograph and the first Porsche 911 debuted in 1963, and both are named after the same thing, the Carrera Panamericana, one of the most dangerous road races ever held. The race was scrapped in 1955 after 27 fatalities in just 5 years. The Tag Heuer Carrera Porsche chronograph starts around $6,000, while the limited Tourbillon Panamericana edition hits 35,000 Swiss francs, and it is limited to 255 pieces, accessible at one end, collector bait at the other. Now, Ferrari's watch history reads like a revolving door of partnerships, and that story is fascinating on its own. It started in the 1950s with informal connections, then escalated through the decades. Heuer in the early 1970s for the Formula One team, Longines in the late 1970s for the road car brand, Cartier in the 1980s with the Formula Ferrari collection. Then came Girard Perregaux from 1994 to 2004, followed by Panerai from 2005 in a partnership that lasted only 3 years and reportedly cost the watchmaker $10 million. The problem was balance. Panerai's design language and Ferrari's identity never quite found equilibrium. Enter Hublot, part of LVMH's luxury watch division. On November 5, 2011, at the Mugello circuit during the Ferrari World Finals, the partnership was announced, and this one worked. Jean-Claude Beaver, the legendary Hublot CEO, understood something critical. He said the watch is not the most important part of this partnership. Ferrari brings awareness, prestige, and exclusivity to Hublot in countries where Hublot lacks recognition. It was an ambassador partnership, but the watches were spectacular too. The Hublot tech-frame Ferrari Tourbillon started at $127,000. The LaFerrari watch featured a curved sapphire crystal that made it look like peering into the engine bay of a supercar, with 11 mainspring barrels delivering an insane 50-day power reserve, haute horlogerie complications that rival any Vacheron Constantin perpetual calendar. Ricardo Guadalupe, Hublot's CEO, called it unequaled by any other partnership in watchmaking or automotive. Biver himself said it was one of the best partnerships of his 45-year career. It lasted a decade, ending in December 2020. And then, Richard Mille entered the picture. The partnership was announced in 2021, and within 2 years, they dropped a bomb on the watch industry. The RM Up 1 Ferrari measured just 1.75 millimeters thin, making it the world's thinnest mechanical watch. It was developed in collaboration with Audemars Piguet's horological laboratories. It was thinner than the record Bulgari had set just 3 months earlier, beating it by a mere 0.05 of a millimeter. The price was $1,888,000 for 150 pieces worldwide. In 2025, they followed it with the RM43-1, a flying tourbillon priced at $1.5 million, also limited to 150 units. The partnership has been extended for another 5 years. With Lewis Hamilton now driving for Ferrari in 2025, he has already been spotted wearing Richard Mille, trading in his IWC ambassadorship for the RM67-2 Italy edition. That is cross-promotional synergy you simply cannot buy. Or rather, you can, but it costs about $1.9 million. Then there's Bugatti. The median Bugatti client has 40 supercars in his garage, along with numerous yachts and Gulfstream private jets. This is the customer profile, and the watches made for them reflect that reality. Parmigiani Fleurier held the Bugatti license from 2004 to 2019, producing elegant pieces that honored the mark. But when Jacob & Comte took over in 2019, they brought something different entirely. The Jacob & Comte Bugatti Chiron Tourbillon, launched in April 2020, is essentially a miniature engine block on your wrist. Prices range from $310,000 to nearly $1 million. The latest Bugatti Tourbillon from 2024, limited to 450 units mirroring the hypercars production run, starts at $340,000. So why do supercar brands make watches? Because they share customers who demand the same things from everything they own. Because a watch is the only piece of a supercar you can wear to dinner. Because in a market projected to reach nearly $120 billion by 2034, the luxury watch space is too lucrative and too culturally aligned to ignore. And because some limited editions that originally cost $267,000 now sell for $800,000 to $900,000 on the secondary market through platforms like Chrono24 and at Phillips Auction House. Even Rolex struggles to command those appreciation rates. These are not just accessories, they are investments. They are statements, and for the brands themselves, they are a way to keep their name on your wrist every single day, not just the days you take the car out. The road from the racetrack to the wrist is paved with titanium, carbon fiber, and an awful lot of zeros on a price tag, and it shows no signs of slowing down.